Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of That's So Fashion. My name is Chris, and I'm here with my gorgeous co-star, John.
Hello, I'm John.
This is going to be a podcast about everything fashion. It's going to be horticulture, it's going to be sewing, it's going to be domestic, it's going to be the Met Gala, for example. More on that later. Something that's going to relate to the fashion industry and the home sewist. Very conversational, very fun. What do you think, John?
I think that sounds fabulous, and thank you for the introduction, Chris.
So welcome, isn't it, babe? Okay, so this week we're going to be talking about introducing ourselves, and then later on in the episode we're going to be talking about the Met Gala, the yays, the nays, and the slays. We're going to be talking how that relates to us as people who sew at home. If you're a domestic sewer yourself, that might be very interesting for your own usage. Let's get going, I suppose. Let's start talking about ourselves. John, do you want to introduce yourself, your background, what's your thing?
Well, my name is John, as you know. I am Canadian, as you can probably tell from my accent. So I have been over here in the UK for the last 2 decades, but I still am, Canadian at heart. I am a fashion designer. I am a footwear maker. I am a footwear designer. I am a baker. I am a sewist. I am a painter of portraits for commissions. I do it all.
There is nothing this man cannot and will not do.
But I mean, my main sort of focus is fashion. I do a lot of couture work. I do a lot of things for film and television, and I have got a lot of custom pieces that I do for private clients and private label, and that's sort of my main bread and butter, and what I really enjoy to do.
Good thing about that is there's never a dull day.
No, there's always something going on. And, lately it's been really fun. It's been fly me here to do your measurements, fly me there to do a fitting. It's been actually quite exciting.
Talk about jet set lifestyle. Jesus.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you're more the horticulture end of the episode, and I'm more the sewist end. I absolutely bloody love it. Yeah, no, love that. There was nothing there was no strings to your bow left untied. I think you've got it all going on.
No, and it's fun. I mean, it's something I've worked pretty much my entire life towards. That's been, my God, it's like 35 years in the making, and here I am.
Yeah, wow.
I'm not 35, by the way, but I've been doing fashion for 35 years.
Well, that would be a feat to come out of the womb doing fashion. If you've been doing it for 35 years and you were 35, that's a skill there.
Yeah.
And your poor mother trying to give birth to a sewing machine.
You imagine.
Horrendous. Don't skip that stitch.
No.
My name's Chris. I am a very much home sewist, fashion designer, origin speaking. Born in Portsmouth. Moved to London the second I can get out of that town, because that's, my God, less on that actually, because that's too depressing. Yeah, I've worked pretty hard to kind of get where I am. I've got just as much interest in professional fashion as I have in home sewing, knitting. I have 2 knit machines, which I love, which are actually a gift from a friend, which was incredible. I knit, I sew, I embroider, anything, all of the above, really. I have a strong passion for styling as well. I really like that you can take what could seemingly be a boring piece of, fashion, like a garment, and jazz it up in the most ridiculous ways with things you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, but you're really good at that. I mean, that's like, I feel like your whole...
Stop, tell me more.
What are we saying these days? Vibe.
It's the whole vibe. Yeah. It's my raison d'etre.
Yeah.
I think it's just more fun, because my thing is very much about dressing for how you want to feel. So if you want to feel powerful, whack on a bit of jewelry.
But I feel like more people should really be doing that in their life. I think people are just a little bit too focused on, and I'm guilty of this sometimes. I think people are just too focused on being like, or looking right, or they think is right, or how they're supposed to dress, or my friend dresses this sort of way, so therefore I need to kind of emulate that, and they really kind of lose that I don't know,
Kind of
personal.
like a sense of self, isn't
Yeah,
it?
like a bit of a, exactly, sense of self, sensibility, sense of style, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
And I can think of quite a few of my friends who, we're all sort of like approaching our 40s, or some people are already sort of in their 40s, and they're saying like, I feel like I've lost my self identity. Like I
Mm.
need to figure out who I am. And I think, no, but you sort of knew who you were, or you know who you are, but you just lost sight of that a little bit. You need to kind of go back to that
Yeah.
and
There's a
not,
fear element as well, isn't there? Because a lot of people feel if I express myself too out there,
yeah,
and I stick my head above the sand, as they say, I'll either get flack for it, I'll be persecuted for it,
exactly.
and then I'll feel more of an outcast than I would want to. But to that, I would say is it's better to not fit in with the wrong people than to be authentically yourself, because at some point that will take a toll,
Yeah,
because then you feel lost.
yes, absolutely.
Authenticity is 100% the way to go. So that's kind of
Absolutely.
my vibe. It's very much dress for how you want to feel, be your authentic self, don't give two hoots what anyone else has to say.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite tips is if you want to be productive in a day, put on a pair of work shoes. Put on a pair of your best, work-esque shoes, because you will get stuff done.
Yeah.
Because fashion has such an impact on how we feel
Mm.
that if you're trussed up in something that's a bit more profesh, you you feel you have to be more professional, so you get more done in your day, and I love that.
Absolutely.
It's very that vibe.
Oh yeah.
Um, in terms of background for me, I've kind of come through what I would probably say is the arse end way with fashion. I've not come through fashion school. I've not come through the traditional, let's say that way, the traditional way of
Mm-hmm.
doing fashion. I've kind of grown up when I was little, very much interested in, how does this piece go with this piece, or I'd make clothes for my sister's dolls,
Oh,
that
amazing.
kind of stuff, and then at school, everyone was choosing woodwork. I chose home ec, and kind of dipped my toe in that kind of thing. And then I went on to do interior design, but I actually found my passion for textiles through interior design,
Oh, okay.
because I love interior design and the styling element, which again feeds into the fashion. But I did a textile print focus in my final major of my bachelor's, and absolutely loved it, and thought, this is a bit of me. This, I want to explore this more. Um, so kind of did, and then went on to do my masters, and that was in surface pattern and textile design, and that's where I explored even more the garment side of textiles, and
Mm.
knitted up a collection for menswear that glowed in the dark, and
Amazing.
yeah. So it's that I've kind of come that way, more, I would say, probably more exploratory than traditional.
Yeah, but I still think that speaks to who you are generally.
Yeah, I think so. It's leading with feeling, which is very me. It's like, I want to know what this does, because I feel this is for me. It's that
Mm-hmm.
kind of direction. On the subject of self-expression,
Yes.
I think it's time we delved into the Met Gala,
Sounds good.
and as it's very topical, it's of this week. It's just gone by. I don't know if anyone's been watching it at home, but it's been out. It's been about. It's had its ups and downs. It's certainly had its talking points. So let's talk about the Met Gala. So join us
Yes.
back in a few seconds. Welcome to Act 2 of That's So Fashion, where we're talking Met Gala and everything regarding its trimmings, positives, negatives, who's the who, what's the what. Um, so, as we know, Met Gala was this week. It was on Monday. I think it was. Was
I
it?
believe so, but
I
I
want to
have
say
to be
Monday.
honest, I'm not sure.
I think it was Monday, because it's all I've seen all week. There were quite a few things to talk about, but the theme for this year's Met Gala was the Garden of Time. What are we thinking about this year's Met Gala? Success?
I think for me, overall, I feel like the Met Gala was a bit of a miss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a avid Met Gala individual. I couldn't recall like every year's theme, but I remember certain, elements of it. But I had been taking a look. I had been wanting to be, on sort of par with what people are doing and the theme and whatnot and blah blah blah. And I don't know, given that it was sort of this garden of time, I think most people just sort of wore whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
And although there were some very beautiful pieces, they didn't really feel on theme. And I think if you are one of the exclusive invitees to the Met Gala, which is a world-renowned fashion fundraiser event, ball, whatever you want to call it, how you could show up and not be on theme,
it's unthinkable,
is beyond me. I mean, why are you even one of these exclusive people that gets invited? Like, you know that you're one of the exclusive people.
But even if you get invited, you still have to pay an extortionate fee to go.
Yes.
Why would you pay that and not go full?
Yes. I just don't get it.
No, it's mad to me.
So
there's quite a few. I agree with you. I think the Met Gala for me as a general this year was a bit of a miss. It was a little bit tone deaf. So many that went seemed to completely miss the mark.
Oh, absolutely. So disappointing.
Yeah. And a lot of them are like, obviously it's the designer more than the celebrity, but there's so many opportunities missed from such key names.
Yes.
I found it quite shocking.
Yeah. I was terribly disappointed.
Yeah. Who for you is your leading contender for Best in Show?
So there were quite a few people that were very beautifully dressed. Zendaya was one of them. But for me, I think I was sort of most excited by, and I'm going to try and get the name correct, so forgive me.
Is it Ayo?
Yes.
Ayo Edribiri?
That's the one in Loewe. And I think it was you, actually, Chris, who said to me that the bottom sort of portion of the dress faded from white into those beautiful colors. They're all hand painted.
Yeah, well, they're airbrush. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Like they're airbrushed by hand. It's gorgeous.
And I mean, the skill obviously going into creating that is, high haute couture fashion, which we love.
Yeah.
But also the concept into being able to do that. I mean, airbrushing on fabric isn't something new, but just the way that they were able to create that effect on what I think is a guipure lace is just stunning.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
I will say that I love Nicki Minaj and her Marnie outfit because it was really fun and playful. But I think just, having a look at this beautiful, beautiful Loewe gown, as I say, on what reads as a guipure lace, which is a very difficult fabric to work with. Yeah. And I just think it really hit the mark.
It was stunning. I love Loewe anyway, as a brand. I think what they stand for, because it's Jonathan Anderson, isn't it? It's his second company. Am I right in thinking he's got Jonathan Anderson, J.W. Anderson, and then
he might be he's their designer.
He's the creative director or something.
But he didn't found the company.
No, but he's kind of like one of the heads leading.
I think so.
Which is why there's a slight link between J.W. Anderson and Loewe in terms of styling, which I quite like. But I think absolute smash for me. The dress that Ayo was wearing,
beautiful.
The fade from the white into the flowers was so subtle but so effective.
It is beautiful, and the vibrant colors that they ended up choosing, while being very soft and on theme at the same time, that sort of those pinks and yellow and that kind of cornflower blue, it is just exquisite.
Absolutely stunning. I agree with you with Marnie and the Nicki Minaj dress that she was wearing. It's what I quite like about it is that it is actually very Nicki Minaj.
Absolutely.
It's the perfect collaboration.
Yeah. Like if she was wearing it to any other event in a music video, like it would just be like, oh, look at her looking cute.
Yes.
And yet
Nicki Minaj slays again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it worked so beautifully for this event. But no, this Ayo Loewe collaboration is spectacular.
Yeah.
I love everything about it.
But also that's so fashion.
Yes.
Like the fact that you've taken something that is like haute couture, it's very out there, it's very, very high fashion, but it's screaming someone's personality.
Yes.
You like you say, you could take her in that dress, you could take her out of that setting, put her anywhere, and it would look out of place.
Absolutely. And I think that really, I imagine it speaks highly to yourself, as I wouldn't be surprised if you decided to airbrush your own pattern on something for a piece that you needed to make. And so I think that, knowing sort of yourself and where your kind of sensibility comes from, I feel like that would speak to you very highly.
Yeah, no,
and then for me, it's just classically beautiful. And then again, that just translates into the way my mind works and how I would make them.
There's something about it that's playful in a really serious way.
Yeah, it's Beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
gorgeous. Yeah, huge
And
fan.
any other looks for you for the night that really impressed you?
I again, well, I'm gonna say another Loewe look, but Dan Levy's look, I really, really much enjoyed. I know you're not the biggest fan, but I think again, it's the subtle. For me, it's the subtle blend from flowers to blackness. It was the shift is like the kind of the ombre of the black suit into the flowers. It's a very nice touch, and it was on theme.
Yes.
It really matched the theme of Garden of Time. It's almost like he's wading through high flowers,
Yes.
which I quite liked.
So I don't disagree with anything that you just said. It is a really beautiful look. It was a really cute outfit all together, and he looked great in it. I know he's been doing a lot with Loewe lately, and he's done those really great ad campaigns with Aubrey Plaza, which are like so much fun. But it wasn't my favorite, I have to say. Like, I feel, I don't know, it was, I don't know, almost like too, like, I don't know, expected. I can't
Too on the nose.
Maybe a little bit, but yes, it is beautiful. The fade again, and coincidentally, picking sort of a white to color fade and then a black to color fade just happened to be the two looks that we like the most, and they are both Loewe, so they've obviously done something right.
Yeah, the trick there, they've it's cohesive, I think.
Yes.
Between, especially with menswear into ladies' wear.
Absolutely.
They've kind of kept it's very on brand, I suppose you would say.
Absolutely.
But,
and I do wonder now, because I don't know if those flowers on Dan Levy's, if they were also airbrushed. Do you happen to know?
I actually don't know.
We'll have to look into that.
We'll have to look into it, but even if it isn't, if it's just embroidered on, perhaps. I mean, I think they're probably embroidered on because it's not lace.
Oh, that's true.
So
that's a good point.
It's probably been embroidered on.
Yes.
But I don't know. It's just you've got classic at the top and you've got fun at the bottom. I just love it. I think it really works.
No, it's very true, and he's a very cool guy, and I really do love him.
The fact he's got a tash as well really kind of helps the look for some reason. I don't know. If he'd had full beard, I don't think I would have liked it as much.
Okay.
I think it's quite
the overall styling of it.
Everything about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really works,
okay. I mean, I get what you're saying. I know I like it. I know it's not my favorite.
But it's not up there. Yeah.
But I will say that it is on theme.
Yeah.
And considering how many people were not, which I feel like we should get to in a moment, I think, check plus for that because it looks great.
Well, then obviously conversely, we now have to discuss the ones that we think weren't as great.
Yes.
So who's your first miss of the night?
So controversial as it may be, I have to go with our, favorite Avenger and co-host, Thor, Chris Hemsworth.
Could not agree more.
Looked great in a very nice sand color suit with his beautiful wife. Yeah. But it was so not on theme. And as much as there is something to be said for just looking beautiful in beautiful clothes by Tom Ford, great brand, etc. Yeah. You're wearing Tom Ford and you're the co-host of the Met Gala. How are you not on theme? Yeah. I was very disappointed.
I didn't actually realize he was the host for a very long time because I thought you've just turned up in a suit you already own. Yeah. In your wardrobe.
Yeah. Looking amazing.
To have a nice look out. Great. You look fantastic. Yeah. I love that for you. Yeah. But the Met Gala isn't somewhere you just turn up looking great. You look up you rock up in the theme. Yeah. That's the whole point.
Exactly. Like you were supposed to wow on that red carpet. I mean, it's what everybody looks forward to, I think, next to the Oscars. Yeah. Or if not over the Oscars.
Well, it's the Oscars of the fashion world, isn't it?
Very much so.
It's like, why are you just wearing again, not taking away from how good he looks, but no, it wasn't. I could agree, it was a miss for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk your main favourite.
My main favorite.
Yeah, let's do favorite and worst.
That is a very difficult question. Who is my main favorite? I would say there are 4 different looks that really jump out to me. Sarah Jessica Parker in her Richard Quinn outfit, hat, and Gina shoes that she was wearing that were made special to match. I thought that was particularly beautiful. As I mentioned to you, I really loved Nicole Kidman, who I don't think was at all on theme and yet looked absolutely stunning, and I couldn't help but be a favorite. Yeah. I liked very much, what is her name? Amanda Seyfried in Prada. She was wearing that silver dress with the pink flowers on it. It felt very Prada, what I would have expected from them from sort of circa 1999, 2000. I like that kind of nod to that. Again, being very much on theme and being very elegant, very classic. I was very, very much a fan of that. And I
quite liked that Nicole Kidman's dress was a redo of the Chanel No. 5 ad.
Yes, and you had said that to me. So then I don't know why I thought she was wearing Balenciaga, but maybe it was Chanel. But whatever she was wearing, I don't think it was on theme at all, but I was super impressed by it. Other than that, I think I still have this thing for Nicki Minaj and Marnie looking amazing.
Yeah.
There were other looks that were beautiful, and I could keep going on. Like Tom Brown did some great things, and Loewe did some great things, but I think I think those are the ones that stand out to me the most. And of course, now that we're talking, there are so many others that I could just say. But then I feel like we could just end up talking and talking and talking, and then
we could probably go into it,
you know, what we're here to do.
Yeah. Between the two of us, we could keep going.
What about yourself?
I'm a huge fan of Tom Brown, and I have to say I absolutely loved what he did. The collection was, like you said, capsule collection. It was very cohesive. It did look absolutely stunning. I think my favourite of the night probably is, although actually I did quite like, I have to say, Jenny Kim in Alea.
Oh yeah, look beautiful,
stunning. Because you know, I'm an absolute slut for a bold color. I can't get enough. Like, it's gorgeous. It's blue. It's, you know, it's very me. So that for me was an absolute win. I have to say my favorite is the Gigi Hadid in Tom Brown.
Oh well, that was particularly spectacular, and I will say my friend made that outfit for her, who works for Tom Brown, and watching the process on social media of all the fittings and creating it, I was very proud. And so I was very much on board with that.
Yeah, I just love it. I saw that and I audibly gasped.
Yeah,
it was stunning. I mean, she's great in anything again, but I don't know, the fit, like the flourish at the bottom, the flowers, it was on theme.
It was
very Tom Brown.
It was. I mean, even just the way the skirt was made out of a tailored jacket, kind of falling down and turning into, that was really beautiful.
Using one thing to look into another. It's very, I absolutely love it.
Okay, I could see that. I mean, I have to say, on the Tom Brown note, I particularly liked what Rebecca Ferguson was wearing, which is also a Tom Brown, coming in that sort of black cloak, and then opening it up with that light blue and those, I don't know, black crows or ravens, and it kind of going beaded onto her gown. I mean, that was a real theatrical moment, and felt very much like Met Gala fashion.
Yeah.
I don't know that it is my favorite, but it definitely needs a honorable mention.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Even how she wore it, like how she styled it when she took off the cloak.
Yeah.
I thought was, you know, whether it was her decision or the designer's instruction, I don't know, but it was gorgeous. Like, she had one on one shoulder, and it flowed behind her.
Yeah. It was spot
stunning.
On. Really spectacular.
Yeah. Very Met Gala.
Agreed.
So do you not have a point blank favourite?
No, I don't think I do. It's very difficult.
Because we both have so many that we love, but I know instantly without hesitation the worst one. Should we say it on 3 to see if it's the same?
Okay, sure.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, that's hilarious. She was wearing aluminum foil. I was so disappointed. And also I think it was Balenciaga. And I was thinking, how can you do something so beautiful for one and so unfortunate for the other?
I know, it was horrendous.
I know.
It's Met Gala, not local chicken shop.
And it wasn't on theme.
No.
And she's a very beautiful woman. She often looks particularly stunning in everything she wears. And yet, and I know she's playing Madame Morrible in the Wicked movie. And then I thought, was there some nod to that? But I don't know. But it didn't read it if there was. Like, Jeff Goldblum was there, and I felt he was very much dressed as the wizard.
Yeah.
And I thought that was intentional. But then I don't
understand the thought process behind it. There's not for me, there's not even one logical thought process that I can imagine as to why that would be connected to Garden in Time.
No, I have no idea. It was, I love how you said dress like chicken shop, because that is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievably disappointing.
Yeah.
And I would expect so much more from her and from the designers.
Yeah.
And I think when you put people together that could make such a beautiful thing and they don't, it is a really missed opportunity. Like, we're focusing on fashion here, but fashion is everything. Like, why are you know, this is a Met Gala opportunity that's like, may never come to you again.
It makes me wonder if these stars who get to go, if they actually don't have any input. Because I can't imagine someone as iconic as Michelle Yeoh not saying something, I'm wearing tinfoil. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if she wouldn't say that. I think she probably would have spoken up.
I mean, you would think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't do tinfoil.
So I think it's got to be... I don't do tinfoil. Move on. It's got to be a designer's, like, look, this is what you're going to wear.
Yeah.
Like it or lump it kind of situation.
Perhaps. which is disappointing in itself to think that, you're, as you say, paying all this money to be a guest, even though you are exclusively selected to be there. But you're going there, you're going to be photographed, everybody's going to be talking about you and either criticizing you or praising you, and yet you find yourself in that position.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it was her favorite dress. Maybe she's had it for years. Like, I don't know. But
there's got to be some backstory that we don't know about.
I find it very disappointing.
Yeah, I saw that and my heart sunk. I thought, going back to how you want to feel when you wear something, is how was she feeling in that? I mean, she looked like she always looks, which is fantastic in herself. But did she feel good? I'm really curious. Did she feel good? Did she feel like she was being put in a microwave? Like, what? Give me some. I need to wrap my head around it. I don't know.
It was just disappointing.
Or did they just want to foil the theme of Garden in Time? Who knows? Please let us know your favourites and worst of the evening with Met Gala. Very interested to see your thoughts. You can connect to us on Instagram, That's So Fashion. Email us, that'ssofashion@gmail.com. Reach out to us singularly. I'll put all the socials in the bio. Very interested to know your thoughts, because as with fashion, as we said before, it's very subjective, it's very personal. Everyone has their 2 pence to say. Yeah. And what one person loves, the next person hates. Exactly. So it's very interesting. Something like the Met Gala is always going to cause controversy purely for that reason.
Right.
On that note, Met Gala is very fashion forward, it's very high fashion, but it doesn't necessarily relate to, which is kind of a throwback to a previous statement, relate to the everyday person at home, home sewist. So I think it's time that we talk about Met Gala versus Sewing Bee.
Okay.
Sewing Bee's back on televisions, so let's have a conflab about that.
Fabulous.
Great. Right.
Yes.
Sewing Bee, let's talk about it. So Sewing Bee is back on our screens.
Yes.
Shortly after, I think the time that this podcast is probably going to go out, it's probably around about the same time. It's 21st of May, which is next weekend.
Yes.
I quite like the timing of that, because the Met Gala was this week, Sewing Bee is next week. It's quite interesting to see something so widely high-end followed immediately by a more personable experience.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the bridging those two gaps between Met Gala and Sewing Bee?
I mean, I don't necessarily think that one bleeds into the other. Mm-hmm. I think it's very easy to say that, one is sort of a craftier space and one is a bit more of a fashionable space. So I don't even know that I believe that. I think that it just depends on your take on it.
Yeah.
But from my experiences with sort of Sewing Bee, I think you get a lot of people that are high fashion on there that do understand, but that isn't their training or that isn't their background, and or even necessarily what they want for themselves, but they do just enjoy expressing their creativity and making beautiful things. Yeah. So I mean, I guess in that element you could bridge the two. Yeah. Sort of expression and making beautiful things and trying to create something. But I do feel that there is a divide sort of between the two of them. And I think also the way that they are publicized, the way that they are sort of presented to us, creates a very distinct divide. I don't think that, again, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I don't feel that the people who are putting Sewing Bee on, the producers or the creators or whatever it might be, are thinking that they want to have a high fashion experience. I don't feel that. But maybe that's just my view.
No, I think we've probably there is something in that. I think that's kind of the point of Sewing Bee, isn't it? It's domestic sewing. It's people. It's the everyday person who wants to get into that area. Maybe they want to, like you say, go into like the fashion world, and they don't have a doorway in. Or it could just be a bit of fun. Everyone has different motives, don't they? So who knows? I would disagree slightly on the sense of about the bridging. I actually quite like the fact that Sewing Bee strives to create a show that is about this is what you could do in the fashion world.
Okay.
Which is kind of what Met Gala is. It's very conceptual. I think they're both quite conceptual.
Okay, I could see that.
In terms of like, so the Sewing Bee challenges, this is what you would do in the world, but you're going to have 4 hours to do this yourself in whatever way you have.
Right.
One thread that I do love about it is its consciousness towards sustainability. And it happens quite a lot with most Sewn Bee seasons that they're given old clothes or they're given old material and they have to make something new and fashion forward with it. I think that's very fashion world orientated, because that's where fashion has to go in order to be sustainable now. It's you can't go fast fashion anymore. You can't go let's just produce. So I think that level of thinking is probably the bridge between the two, because Met Gala, whilst there could be questions on whether it's sustainable, but we'll get to that shortly.
Sure.
They're using conceptualism to prove a point, which I think is what Sewn Bee does. That's just my thought process. Not everyone's going to think differently on it, but the main thing that I love about it is that it's bringing the world of fashion, the world of places like Met Gala, to everyone,
right,
on the level of Sewn Bee, because it takes the snobbery out of fashion. It takes the click out of fashion when you go, we're all just people, we're all just expressing ourselves, we're all pushing our boundaries, which is what fashion is. It's about pushing
that's
boundaries.
A very good point.
And for me, that's what I love about it.
Okay, I could see that. I think that you make a very good point there. And maybe I'm not as versed on it as you or what, but I just I like that. I can learn from that.
Yeah, it's just about perception.
Yeah,
because people, Sewn Bee is made to be, a TV show. Of course it is.
Yeah,
it's made to be
absolutely
digestible for the masses, and I get all of that. But people relate to it because everyone has something in them in some way of need to self-express.
Right.
And we touched at the beginning of the episode about how fashion for me is about self-expression. It's about dressing to how you want to feel, and kind of Sewn Bee kind of does that kind of thing. In a lot of ways. I don't like when it's cheapened by, oh, it's just a TV show, or it's just it's because actually it's such a great tool to show people who perhaps don't have the confidence to do something that you don't have to be this world-class atelier, this fashion school elite.
Yes.
You can pick up a sewing machine, you can pick up some fabric, and you can do whatever the hell you want.
Oh, I love that. I think it's a very inspiring thing, actually. And I think it definitely does prove that point to many people, which is this can still be a part of your life. And it doesn't need to be the entire thing that you do with your life, but it can be a form of expression, and it's a really wonderful thing.
Yeah. How do you feel that sits or could sit better with the everyday domestic sewing aspirational fashion designer? Okay, I'm going to use my niece as an example.
Good.
She does have an interest in fashion, and she does have an interest in making her own fashion. We've had conversations about it.
Yep.
She's quite keen on me teaching her to sew.
Okay.
Love that for her.
Yes.
How does then, going from that mindset to then seeing something like the Met Gala, do you feel affects someone on the early stages of their fashion career? Because it could be someone sees that and goes, oh, I'm never going to do that, I'm not going to bother. Or that could be my goal. What's your thought process on that?
So I guess it could, like you say, it could go either way. And before you use that, it just gave me that mini example. It could go either way. That's what I was going to say to you. From my own personal experiences, I think that some things can be a little bit daunting, and you think, oh, I'm not going to bother, or I'm not going to take the hard road to get there. I'm going to do it slightly simplified because either I don't have the time, or I don't have the mind power, I don't have the capacity, or whatever it might be. Whereas you might see something else, like a Met Gala, or a collection during a fashion week, or a beautiful shop in Bond Street, or whatever it is, where there are beautiful garments and things there that might be out of reach because they cost an arm and a leg, but might be inspiring for somebody who thinks, I can actually do that, so I'm going to make that. Or I want to be able to do that, so I'm going to learn how to do that. And I'd like to think that's what it does. I would like to think that you see these, red carpet events, Met Gala, the Oscars, whatever it is that we're talking about, and they're flooded with all sorts of super brands and brands that some people haven't heard of, and it's all beautiful pieces, even like taken sort of out of context and in the context that they're in, and that there would be somebody like your niece watching that or looking it up online, being really inspired by something really beautiful and thinking, I would like to attempt that. I would like to. That's how I choose to believe that things go. I think that it is really inspiring. I know even for myself, I've been to many, wonderful exhibits at various museums that are all fashion related. And more often than not, I'll be walking through admiring the clothes, the accessories, and there'll always be something, whether it be an entire room or at least a piece in an exhibit, that is inspiring enough to myself. And I think I could actually make that. And I've attempted to, or I've put it down on my list of things to tackle with a photo reference, and I will get to it eventually.
Yeah.
So I like to believe that way.
Is that because we're creatively minded? So we see fashion as it is at the moment, but I think attitudes are shifting in the fashion world. I think people are actually trying to move away from Met Gala-esque level of fashion, where it's very,
oh, I don't know about that.
It's all about the pomp and circumstance. It's all about the let's go. How much and how much of can we produce? Just for it to be worn once at an event like this and then probably never be worn again or see the light of day,
Right.
I think, which does also kind of have elements of sustainability again, but I think future generations, and you kind of see it already emerging to a degree, and I kind of feel like it has to if we're going to survive, because it's moving away into what's personal about this. How long is it going to last? I don't need to replace this. I don't need to get a million of them. I can, which is why at the beginning again I mentioned about styling, because you can take something you've owned for 15 years, style it differently in 1,000 different ways, and it's a new garment essentially. So I don't know. I kind of feel like attitudes when you're comparing things like Met Gala and Sewing Bee and very fashion room versus living room.
Yes.
Most people would probably go, again, it could be way off mark, but I think most people would probably go for the latter because it's more relatable and it's more sustainable. It's that I can make something at home, and because I've made it, I will wear it to death.
So I don't disagree with what you're saying to a degree, and I think you're right. People would do that. I know I have. I'm sure you have. However, when you think about how many people actually know how to make something, whether it be as a home machinist, or as a seamstress, or as a hobby, or whatever it might be, or as a high-end person working in a house of fashion somewhere in the world. But how many people can actually do that? And how many people that can actually do that are making clothes for themselves? I mean, I know for me, I could probably count on one hand how many times I've actually made myself something.
Yeah.
And of those few items that I've made myself, I only think of one thing that I've actually worn to death.
Yeah.
But I have the skill to do it, but I don't. Whereas you might be the complete opposite. So I don't think that you're wrong when you say that things are moving in a different direction, and we might see less of the sort of Met Gala, more of the home, sewing bee, sewist, and whatnot. And I think that's great. But I don't know that it's so black and white at this point. I think that it is, the world, I think, is still looking to Vogue and Tatler and super brands and Fashion Week and celebrity to sort of dictate like what is in style, even if it shouldn't or whatever. That I don't think that it's going to be a few short years and everybody's going to be making their own stuff. As much as that might be better for the environment and more sustainable, which is great, but I don't know how quickly that's actually going to happen.
I suppose if you look throughout history of fashion, you kind of go right back through, to Greek and Roman times. Whatever the most famous people of the time are wearing tends to follow into fashion, into the general society.
Absolutely.
Look at things like Queen Victoria and Prince Albert.
Yes.
Everything they did suddenly became the height of trend and fashion.
Yes, but then so that's interesting that you mentioned them, right? Because I think that is a very different time. It's obviously a Victorian era, and
Mm.
there's also the argument sustainability, yes, but also things about
Industrialization.
sorry.
Industrialization.
Yes, but no, I was thinking more like consumption and sort of necessity versus want. And so if you think you're, some point 18, whatnot, Queen Victoria, Prince Albert, right? And
Mm.
yes, they are dictating certain things. You're absolutely right about that.
Mm.
But it would have been a very different time where, and let's talk somebody who was at a level socially and financially where they could afford whatever they needed. Let's
Yeah.
just talk about that for a
Yeah. Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
You would probably, as a woman in that time, have a couple, like a day dress or two, an evening dress, maybe two,
Mm.
and you'd have like house clothes. And things would be worn over layers to preserve the outer fabric so it wouldn't need to be cleaned as much because
Mm.
things like that would damage garments.
Yeah.
So people had less and they didn't feel that they needed more because that wasn't what was sort of expected. If we flash forward, what, 150 years or whatever it
Mm.
is that we're talking about here, where you might go into I'm making this up, but the average person's wardrobe
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and they have 27 pairs of jeans, that, and 36 t-shirts and, three winter coats and four pairs of winter boots, and then forget evening wear. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I think there's that consumption that is something that you can't forget when you think about historical fashion and dress and how things were dictated then. I mean, it's not that long ago to go to say the 1960s where style would come out for a season. So say like a shift dress, let's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
say.
And then the pattern
And
would be released immediately for it, and everyone would make their own.
well, everyone would make their own, but even if you were buying it in the store, even if you were just looking in something like Vogue, which is more of a catalog at that point than it
Yeah.
was a high fashion magazine that we're used to, you would know that that style of, pencil skirt, that style of shift was the style for the season. That was pretty much all you could get.
Mm.
Now, online, in-store shopping, whatever it might be, um, you can get anything you want. That, as I say, 1960, so 60 years ago, which is not that long ago,
No.
that was not the option. Every season or once a year, or whatever the sort of cycles were, you were almost dictated what to wear, whether you made it yourself, which
Mm.
would be great, and I think was a lot more common, or whether you were able to afford it and buy it in store. Your um, you were limited to specific fashion.
Yeah.
We don't have that limitation anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So people can go out and buy whatever they want or make whatever they want. Obviously, they can always do, but there's so much more out there and so much more going on that I think that because there's so much more accessible, people want more, and maybe that's the problem. Like,
But that is interesting that you mentioned that, because that's kind of the direction I was going in.
oh,
Is that
okay, I talk a lot, so
no, no, it's no, you're absolutely valid points. Every single one of them. But it's kind of like, go back to, like the Queen Victoria and Prince
Yes,
Albert area. Is you always had celebrity, or you always had trend culture, if you like, if
yes,
you want to call it. But the way in which people would copy that trend was very different.
mm-hmm.
Then you come to an era where, obviously the rise of capitalism and all that kind of stuff, and like you say, online shopping, everything becoming so easy, and
Yes, yes,
on your doorstep, next day delivery and all that stuff. It was easier to get it from somewhere else. Whereas before this point, if you wanted to catch up, you had to make it yourself. And as a result, you didn't necessarily, there was environmental impact, with factories and all this kind of stuff, but there wasn't such a making quantity, it was making quality.
yes,
And you knew like classic wear your Sunday best. It's that
yes,
you
absolutely.
save your best clothes because you've got to look after them. You're going to wear them a
Yes,
lot.
yes,
It's the same kind of thing. I think the cycle of that is kind of ebbing more back towards that kind of
yeah,
outlook.
I agree with that.
Is that people want quality now, because
Yes.
you can pick up a vest up in Primark for £2.
Oh,
In 2
it's
months, it's
crazy.
torn, it's withered, and you need to replace it. And then where do you go? You put it in the bin. Most people
Shocking.
aren't gonna put a torn piece of garment into a charity shop or recycle it, or the average person would probably just chuck it.
Yeah.
So that is not sustainable
No.
long term. And it's who's the there's a company that's kind of come out recently and said that they've completely kind of trying to close the loop on it. They say they are now no longer taking part in fashion weeks.
Oh, really? I'm not sure who you mean.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this. I might have just made that up.
No,
But,
I'm sure you're right, but I'm just not
it's
familiar.
in the brain somewhere where someone is now no longer doing fashion weeks because they're trying to move away from fast fashion
Oh,
and the
yeah.
constant stream of look what's on the catwalk now. You now need
Yes.
to go and buy this because
Yes.
this is the latest trend.
Yes.
They're trying to get away from that,
Right.
and it's very Vivienne Westwood to be make it yourself, fix what you have.
Well, yes. I mean, even like if you think about historical collections of fashion around the world in various museums, there's always less of the historical pieces, because especially those that were not worn by royals or aristocrats or very wealthy people, because they wore what they had until they couldn't wear it anymore because they had no choice.
Yeah.
So I do think you are seeing a little bit more of that. And we still saw that in the 60s. I mean, I don't know if you went to the Mary Quant exhibit.
I saw that, yeah.
Which was a beautiful exhibit.
Gorgeous, yeah.
And it was felt a bit lackluster in some ways, but it was mainly because, and they addressed it in a beautiful way, but they put an out call for these clothes because a lot of people still had them in their wardrobes.
Mm-hmm.
They lent from just regular old people who weren't anybody, like celebrity, I mean. And a lot of them were very well worn, and it said on these little plaques, if you would read it, like, I wore this dress probably 300 times. Like, it was my work dress. Like, and it wasn't just one piece worn to a ball, worn on a red carpet.
Exactly, yeah. But I think that's kind of what we have to try and reinstill and empower people, which is why I'm thinking the Met Gala to Sotheby angle is like, Met Gala's great and it's cute to see these outfits, and we've just basically slated some and praised others.
Great.
And it's great to see because it's very interesting. But there's got to be a way of doing that and keeping it sustainable. If you're gonna, whatever's worn on the Met Gala must be able to be deconstructed and made into other things, or the fabric itself could be recycled, or it's given away to people that can actually wear it, or there's got to be something that can be done. I think
I'd like to believe there is an element of that is done.
Yeah.
And I think the Sewing Bee is a great program, and I think I imagine it does craft and
skill.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important.
Yeah.
So I think it would be wonderful to think that more people out there are feeling a little bit inspired. Oh, I can do that. Absolutely, I can do that. I'm going to go buy a store-bought pattern, or my grandmother taught me how to sew when I was a little person, and I'm going to remember how I did it, and I think that's really lovely.
The joke of it is on this series that's about to air.
Yes.
I got through to the last audition.
Yes.
And I would have been on it, but they didn't choose me, so they're dead to me now.
I didn't apply, so
I might actually have to just sue them for not letting me on. I mean, I love Sewing Bee. I think mainly for the reasons I've said, it's a way of reaching people who ordinarily may not feel inspired to make something.
Yes, and I think that's great.
That's what I love it for. It's such a great self-expression. You always see a great collection of people that you wouldn't ordinarily see. You get to see more men sewing, and you get to see some absolutely amazing characters. And I think that's it's true. Benefit. And it would have just been a hoot to do it, really. But at least I got through to got to see the location it was filmed. That was nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went up there for the last one.
That's really fun.
Yeah, I made I'm sure I can say about it now. It's being released. A makeup bag. Is it a makeup bag? Like a wash bag. That was the audition. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
The final one. Yeah. You had to make a wash bag with the fabric they provided and pattern they provided, and do it in the time they told you, and it was
20 minutes,
something like that.
Oh my god!
No, it was maybe an hour, hour and a half. I don't know. It wasn't long anyway.
Oh, honestly, as somebody who has spent 10 days hand sewing a couture giant bow as a waistband for something, that makes me crazy.
Yeah. If you want to see that giant bow, go to John's Instagram.
It'll be up soon.
It will be up soon, and it'll be glorious. Yeah. But if you are watching, listening, digesting what we're saying, and any of it is resonating with you, reach out, tell us your thoughts. Are you a sewist who makes things on the reg and has an excellent way of recycling, reusing, or any tips on how to get rid of your remnants or anything like that, get in touch. We'd love to be able to spread the message on that. If you don't currently sew or don't currently make and you want to get involved, let us know. We'd love to hear from you and give any tips and tricks that we possibly can.
Absolutely.
Anyone can sew, anyone can make. Self-expression is so powerful, and authenticity is the superpower that we all need. So get in touch. On that, I think that's us for the for the episode.
I think it's a good intro.
Yeah, I think we're
people know what we're about, and I think we
absolutely. I think
helping to make the world a better place.
We are, not to blow our own trumpets, but we're just amazing in every way. So I just want to kind of end on a little thought of the week. Creativity never goes out of fashion. Style is everything, and you don't have to be held back by a what if. If you want to do something and you're concerned about what people might think of you, or where do you even start, the best thing you can do is just make the first step. Either get a sewing machine or get a needle, do it by hand, get an old garment that you're probably not going to use anymore. Just test the waters, research things online. YouTube is your friend. Don't be scared to get yourself out there and start your journey, because we all start somewhere. I think you don't need to be amazing, you just need to do it, because that's so fashion. That's what we're here for. Next month, we will release our next episode. It's going to be a monthly podcast, unless, of course, you're all gagging to hear from us for more. Then do let us know. So next month is most likely going to be a fashion week exploration, as it should be Paris, I think. Paris Fashion Week in June. Can't really remember. It might change. But so next month will be around about the same time, usually going to be the beginning of every month. Can't wait to get that out. But for now, from John and I, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
And speak to you guys soon. Bye.